Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pinnacle. Today we have Horuhe San, who is the founder and owner of Waveforce. He's a producer, and you might also know him from his memes on Twitter. We had an interesting conversation because Waveforce is really only as old as the pandemic. So he has a lot of insight on what his goals are with the group, how he's run the group so far, how they've seen success, what they have planned for their artists. There are a lot of gems in here, and I hope you guys enjoy. I would really appreciate it if you could support it by liking, commenting, or sharing it, whichever one works for you, or even rate it on the audio version if that's what you're on, and I hope you enjoy.
I'm Horuhe San. I make beats and I'm the founder of Waveforce.
Tell me a little bit about what Waveforce is, and then we can kind of get into how it began, how far it's come, and everything like that. So yeah, just let me know really what, just give me a brief description of what Waveforce is, if you could describe it.
Okay. So Waveforce is, I think the best way is just like a digital collective / indie label. Because the reason I say collective instead of just a label is because I don't sign anyone. Everyone in Waveforce is free to leave whenever they want, and if they're free to get whatever deals they want and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They can be signed to a record label while being in Waveforce. Waveforce is just about just putting out music. You know what I mean? Putting out content, like kids. We're gonna start doing live streams. We just put out our first single the last month.
Congrats on that. And I actually didn't even realize that no one was actually signed to Waveforce. It's something where people choose to be in it. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. And and how did Waveforce come about? Whenabouts did it start, and how did that idea come about?
Okay, so Waveforce was always about, from the very beginning, the idea was always the freedom. You know what I mean? Everyone in Waveforce, I want them to be in Waveforce because they believe in what we're trying to do, and you know what I mean? They want to be a part of something bigger and something different. Because from the very beginning, there was always, I didn't like the way, I guess, the industry worked and all that type of stuff. You know, signing people mm-hmm. and stuff. So from the very beginning, it was just going to be literally whatever we work on and put out, the splits will be handled. Then I'm not going to be taking any publishing. I'm not going to be taking anything, you know what I mean? Because I can get my own money from music. Okay, so Waveforce started in the middle of when the pandemic first started. So it was like June, summer 2020. I had the idea of wanting to build a collective for a while. I just didn't feel like I was the right person, or I felt like nobody was gonna want to join because I didn't have any big placements. I didn't have any big accomplishments, and everyone just knew me for the memes and stuff like that. So nobody actually knew. I didn't think anybody would trust me enough to want to be a part of Waveforce. But I remember one day I was talking to Andrew Astor, who's currently in Waveforce. And I was just, talking to him about it, about the idea of wanting to make something different, something just completely on the internet, no industries type of stuff, and without even asking him, and he just, from the very beginning, he's I'm in, whatever you do, I want in.
Wow.
So without even realizing, I got the first member just off of trying to tell him about what I was working on. And so it all just started with the Waveforce Twitter, and then I started asking producers, and we had a few that came and went, and then eventually we got the first artist, which was John Darko. And then we got more producers and more artists, and then we got some designers, and like now we're fully equipped to be putting out music, and we're actually ready to be dropping consistently, like under Waveforce and then under the artists that are in Waveforce. You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of music to put out.
Dope, man. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize. It feels like you guys have been around for longer than just the start of the pandemic, and that really speaks to just how well you guys have done in terms of marketing yourselves and solidifying yourselves. Because I see your name, I see Waveforce everywhere. So um, that's really great, and it's great news to hear that you guys have more music coming out, and you're moving. I mean, there's not much else I can say about that. It's really awesome to see. Um, so when it comes to people who are invited into Waveforce, how does that usually work? Like what kind of deciding factors uh are there for people to get into Waveforce?
Okay, so this is actually a good question because I get a lot of people who ask me like how to join, and like I don't really have like a set number of people that I want to be in the team. Like if it makes sense, and it makes sense. But like the best way or the way that I like to do it is like there's like a good amount of the members need to be able to vouch for this person before I can recruit them. You know what I mean? There has to be some work experience, like some work history between them and some of the members. Like, you know what I mean? And the main reason I do it like that is because one, it guarantees that we're not just adding just a stranger that's gonna end up being weird or throw the team chemistry off. Because like one thing I'm very proud of is just how well we all get along. Like in the Waveforce chat and stuff like that. Like we're able to work together so well. Like there's no ego. You know what I mean? Like we're not like arguing every second, and it's just all natural. Everyone's looking out for each other and just having fun. So when we add someone, it has to be somebody who is like well connected with one of the members. You know what I mean? Has a good sound and is like a good person overall. You know what I mean? Like they don't have an ego. They're not like, you know what I mean, starting drama on the internet, like on Twitter or whatever. Cause yeah, like I want people who, you know what I mean, are gonna be here for the long run and aren't gonna cause any problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna hold that train of thought. I'm gonna ask you more questions about Waveforce, but first I also just want to get into who you are as a person, as a producer. Um, where did your journey into music start? How long ago was that?
So mine started like late. You know what I mean? Like I was like 20, 21 when I first got introduced to anything about music.
Wow.
Like the only previous experience that I had making music was in 6th grade. Because I had just moved into a new school, in a completely new school district, because we moved to a new part of town. And so I was new. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends. So whenever I would get to school, the first thing I would do is just go straight to the library. And in the library, they had all these computers. They had all these Macs. So I would just get on the computers. I would try to play some games and stuff like that. And one day I was going through the I guess the installed programs on there, and I found one called Garageband. And I would just mess around with that every day and just, you know what I mean, move sounds around and stuff like that. But I just saw it as a game. I didn't really think anything of it. And when I moved again for 7th grade, I just completely stopped. You know what I mean? At that time, I was just focused on art. I would draw all the time. I would just always sketching and stuff like that. And it wasn't actually until after high school, you know what I mean? Right after high school, I was supposed to go to UTSA for physics. Yeah, because I wanted to be a physics teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in orientation, and I was like getting ready to like, you know what I mean? Like we were like staying at the dorms and stuff like that. And like, I don't know why, But for some reason, I just like this feeling started getting into me where I was like the doubt started creeping in. Like maybe this isn't what I want to do. Like, because I've always been a creative person, you know what I mean? But it was always drawing. Like I was always drawing. So I was like, I want to do something creative. So like the very last day of orientation, I ended up withdrawing completely from school. I took a year off. Then after this year off, I decided to do business instead. So I was going to school for business. And this friend of mine who was trying to get into music, he was trying to be a rapper, approached me asking if I could manage him.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I told him no because I had no idea like anything about music. You know what I mean? I've never done anything related to music. So I was like, you know what I mean? Like, well, like how am I gonna help you? You know what I mean? Like his argument was that I was good with business, I was good with numbers, but I just felt like I wasn't the right person.
Right.
But at the time, I was like very frustrated with school because, you know what I mean? I wanted to learn the business already, but I had to take all these prerequisites and stuff like that. And I was gonna take like 2 years before I started even learning anything business related. You know what I mean? And I wanted to start a business ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to actually go for it and manage them. You know, I told them I'll do it, and then I ended up researching, reading up on everything about music. You know what I mean? How to put out music, how to get shows, how to record, what equipment do we need, blah blah. So like, I learned as much as I could to try to be able to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, we got to the point where we were buying all the equipment for him to be able to record and make the music at home. And when we were at what is it? Guitar Center. You know what I mean? Like, and we were buying the software, and we asked like, what's the easiest one to learn? And they recommended FL Studio. So we got FL Studio. Like he bought everything and all that, and I was the one that was figuring out how to engineer him, how to record him, and like eventually it got to the point where I was even having to do the producing. So I was like, he was trying to figure it out and he couldn't, and I was always more good with computers. So I was like, let me try it, and then I did, and then I ended up really liking it, and so I was like, you know what, I want to produce as well. So I was managing him and producing him as well. And I don't know, like it got to a point where I just felt like I was doing way too much, and he wasn't really doing anything. Like he wouldn't like to record in front of me, which was complicated because I was the only one that knew how to record him. He wouldn't
That is a problem.
Yeah, like he wouldn't freestyle over any beats and all that, which was a problem because whenever he did feel like recording, he was so off beat because he didn't have like he would always be writing, but he wouldn't actually be. You know what I mean? Like with the instrumental in mind, because like you can write something and it doesn't mean it's gonna fit on a beat.
100%.
And like I don't know, like it got to a point where there was like too much drama, always arguing and all that. And like he always felt like he knew what to do and didn't really trust me, even though I was the one putting in all the work to like find out the best way to do everything. And then one time a friend of his decided to hop on board and help make the music too, and that's when he got like this ego where he felt like he didn't need me and all that and stuff like that. So we got into a big argument. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I walked away from it. We stopped talking. And then like not even a week later, I was like damn, I really want to make some beats. So I went out, I bought me a laptop, I bought a full studio, and I've been making music ever since. At like 21.
Bro, that is... Sorry, say that last part again?
At 21.
Dude, that is a crazy story. Honestly, that is a crazy story because compared to how everyone else that I know, for the most part, starts producing or gets into music or whatever, that is definitely the most unique story that I've heard, because the idea that you went from, first of all, managing someone you didn't even know how to manage, in music, then you went to engineering, which already that's not easy stuff, especially if it's your first time doing it. That's not easy. And then you go straight to producing, which is another thing That's a really crazy story. So that's yeah, I'm just very impressed, but also just surprised. Like that's very cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
mhm.
actually not realizing now that you say it that I started backwards. Because usually people start producing and then they start engineering and then they'll start managing someone else or something like that.
Bro, 100%.
So yeah, like that. I guess that is kind of like a weird. Because I had nothing. I didn't know anything about music. I didn't know what a clap was. I didn't know what a snare was. Like I had to.
It's crazy.
I had to teach myself everything. Like it was a lot of. It was a big learning curve. Because like
Yeah.
in high school, like I was gonna be like an engineer or a physics teacher. You know what I mean? Like I was in robotics, I was taking calculus, I had no, like if someone would have told me that I was gonna do music, I would have never believed them. You know what I mean? It was just like, I don't know, like my mind was somewhere else at the time. Just crazy how life works.
No, that yeah, 100%, man. And you're really you're right. Now that you mention it, I'm actually thinking the fact that you did work backwards. Um, because for me it was producing first, then I learned how to engineer, and then the management side I've definitely considered it. I don't know if I ever would, but even the knowledge that it takes to do all these things, usually in working in that order, it makes sense, like why people would go from producing to engineering and then managing, because you get all that experience as you go, especially engineering, because you'd be around certain artists a lot of the time. But the fact that you did it backwards is pretty crazy. And on that topic, like so when you first started producing, did you realize right away that you were, I know you said you liked it right away, but did you realize right away that you were good enough at it? Or did that take a little more time? Like, was there a point ever where you said, oh, okay, no, I'm actually really good at this, or I'm good enough at this?
Yeah, it was actually, cause like I think it was late 2020 was when I like bought my own equipment. I bought FL Studio, and I messed around on it and stuff like that. And I was like, every now and then when I was bored or I had time, like I would get on it and see what I can come up with. But it was mostly just opening up FL Studio, pressing random stuff, seeing what comes out. Like it was never about like, oh, I'm gonna send this to somebody, or like I'm not trying to get somebody on this beat. I was like, my intention was never to become a producer. It was just something that I would do just
Mm-hmm.
because I had it there. You know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
like a hobby, I guess. But it wasn't actually till after I met my girlfriend, with still, that I picked it up again and tried to take it more seriously. I don't know what pushed me to like want to take it more seriously, but I felt like, you know what I mean? Like I was 21, I was still living with my parents. Um, I didn't have no car. I didn't really have a job. I was just, like working construction every now and then just to get some money
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't really have bills. You know what I mean? I would just pay my phone, pay the internet, and buy myself stuff whenever I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met her, and then she had two jobs. She was already in like not living at home anymore and stuff like that. And I just felt like, we were getting serious, and I felt like I had to figure out what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, what's my future? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't just, you know what I mean? I had dropped out of business school like a semester in, so I was just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and then I realized, you know what? Like, let me try like doing music as a career. You know what I mean? And that's when I started taking it seriously, and you know what I mean. I started watching tutorials and just trying to get as good as I could. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I started watching Busyworks beats, and now I'm here.
Yeah. Started watching Busyworks beats and now I'm here. That's the quote of the episode. um, so, okay, and I appreciate that backstory. That definitely puts a lot of things into context, and obviously helps people understand who you are and where you're coming from. And that's really cool that your girlfriend was part of the reason that kind of in an indirect way pushed you towards music. That's really cool, and it's good. I mean, it's very nice to see that, you know, whenever there's a relationship like that, when two people can actually benefit each other in such a strong way that you're actually going towards a certain career. Because some people do get very stagnant in relationships. So
Yeah.
um so and this is just out of curiosity, but was there ever a time for Waveforce when you were unsure about someone, but you let them in anyways, and then they ended up surprising you? I know that's a very specific scenario, but I was just curious. Maybe that has happened.
Well, yeah, like whenever I recruit somebody, like they could have the music down, they could have the, you know what I mean, like the branding down, and you know what I mean, and have placement and stuff like that. But I'll get like the gut feeling, like no, like I don't think, I don't know, like something tells me that I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Even though on paper they seem like the perfect person, you know what I mean, like an asset. And then like a week later, you know what I mean, this scandal comes out where they're like doing all this and blah blah and stuff like that. And then like on the other side of that, there's times where like I really, you know, believe in somebody, and like even though it doesn't seem like they don't really have a lot going on, like they're just getting started and stuff like that, and then they end up really, you know what I mean, like just blossoming, you know what I mean, like like I think, like for example, I think Pseudo's probably the best example, because whenever I first met Pseudo, it was all truth. Right. I remember All Truth. I think it was like the first few months of Waveforce. It was like he had told me to keep an eye out on Pseudo, and I was like, he was just telling me that like he's just starting out, but like I've been talking to him, trying to give him some advice, and I feel like he's really gonna have like, you know, I think he's really gonna be able to nail it down. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna, like he's passionate about it, and I feel like he's gonna really do it. And then fast forward to the year after that, which was 2021, we started doing monthly events in our Discord called Waveforce Weekend. So every last weekend of the month, we would host events in Waveforce. And Pseudo was one of the ones that would show up all the time, and you know what I mean? And like I really enjoyed having him there. Like he was so funny, and like he just had this energy to him. Like he just, I don't know, he was just like good vibes, you know what I mean? Like every time he would join, it was a good time. So like I was trying to keep my eye out on him, and he put out his first ever loop kit, and the presentation, the cover art and everything about it, like I liked it. And as soon as I saw that kit, I was like, you're in. And then he got in. He ended up getting a deal with Nani plugin, and he ended up making it go viral. Like everybody started posting about it.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And like now he's making crazy music. He's in the studio all the time, and he's not in Waveforce anymore. Like he's insane. He's crazy. And he just has that personality to where like people are gonna gravitate him. He's gonna build his own fan base. Like he's, you know what I mean? And he hasn't even been making music for that long. Not like, I think it's only been around a year.
Yeah,
like a little bit over a year. So like in that amount of time, like the things he's done, like he's gonna go crazy.
No, I believe it. That sounds very much like the case. Yeah. No, that's a perfect example.
Yeah, just
so in terms of your artists, what kind of things do you guys do for your artists, or do you have planned for your artists specifically to make sure that they're in the best hands, that they succeed? How do you approach your artists?
like with my artists is like, it took me a while to like, I didn't really get all the artists to like the last half of last year, John Darko was there from the beginning, and it just happened all by accident, pretty much the same way that my first producer happened, like by accident, you know what I mean? Like, because at first the intention was going to be like Waveforce and John Darko, we're going to do like a collab EP or something like that. And we ended up creating a group chat, and we're messaging all the time, and eventually it just happened to where like he became one of the members, you know what I mean? So he became our first artist. And it took a while before we recruited our second. I think the biggest reason that it took so long to recruit more artists was just the fact that we were just trying to figure out what worked. You know what I mean? Like last year, like towards the middle of the year, like there was a lot of, I feel like stagnancy in the team, like in what we were doing, just because
Right.
we didn't know what route to take. You know what I mean? Like some of the members wanted to just focus on placements, you know what I mean? Like becoming more of a producer collective. And then like I wanted to like be like a powerhouse, you know what I mean? Like one of the biggest examples is Internet Money, you know what I mean? Like they have producers, they have artists, and they put out their own music. But they also work with a lot of industry people, and that was always a goal of mine, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to recruit more artists and focus on putting out more music with our artists, and then putting out music under Waveforce. And I even wanted the producers to be putting out their own music with our artists, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, me, I put out an EP, and it has a bunch of artists from Waveforce, and even some people outside of Waveforce. And, like use our producers or push the producers to like kind of like build their own brand and be able to put on their own music and stuff like that. And it wasn't till like after the second half of last year that I like kind of like decided that I wanted to, like focus more on the putting out music stuff and all that. Because like before I was more focused on the producers and like putting out kits and doing events for the producers and stuff like that. And I started putting all my attention more towards the artists and putting our own music and becoming like an actual music collective, you know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people saw us as a producer collective. And so we ended up recruiting more artists, you know what I mean? I always made sure that they were able to record their own music, that they didn't have an ego, that they had the talent, that they were able to like, you know what I mean, take advice, work well with the team and stuff like that. And that finding somebody like that takes time. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people
absolutely.
like that. Luckily, John Darko like pretty much helped me with all of that. Like he was tapped in, like he knew who was fire, he knew who was cool. And pretty much every artist that we have in Waveforce was because of John, because he recommended it. He's the one that signs off on them, and that's how they get in. Because like I really trust his ear. You know what I mean? Like he knows who's talented and who's just making music. You know what I mean? So like to answer the question about what we do for the artists, I'm always trying to give them advice. You know what I mean? Since I started as a manager, I learned a lot of things about how to handle your own publishing, how to get your own shows, how to get into, you know what I mean? Like how to submit your music to like blogs and stuff like that, and how to market your music, how to just like pretty much whatever you can think of managing an artist. Like I had to research. So like whenever they put out music, like if they need a cover art, I'll make it for them. Like I'll help them come up with the marketing plan of how we should put out this song. I help them pretty much decide which song to put out at what time. Because a lot of people make good music, and a lot of the issues most of the time is that they put it out at the wrong time. You know what I mean? And for example, like, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that, like more of like a manager role for them. You know what I mean? And give them advice and, tell them which songs they should put out and then which songs they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Because like as an artist, I feel like you will get attached to a certain song. But like, you know what I mean? Like whenever I listen to music, I listen from like just a listener's perspective. You know what I mean? Like how is somebody gonna interpret the song? And I feel like someone's gonna appreciate the song more than this song. Or this song has you know what I mean, like shows more of your potential or shows more of your uniqueness, which is important. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it, like trying to get songwriting opportunities with labels like Sony, any pretty much major label, like how to submit music to, like how to submit demos to like big R&B artists or rap artists and something like that for songwriting placements. Pretty much anything, you know what I mean, that they need, like I'm able to provide and help them with.
Yeah.
Even marketing their music through the Waveforce website, through the Waveforce newsletter, the Waveforce Discord, the Waveforce accounts, you know what I mean? Getting the team to like help push the music as well. It's a lot that's been going on to it, and I'm still learning, you know what I mean? Because it's like we're literally like barely getting into like actually releasing music as a team. Like even though like the artists are dropping music under their names, like it's a team effort now, which is good. And I think like the best example of how we're doing things now is the Waveforce single, because that one took a couple months to come out, and it was mainly like deciding the perfect time to put it out, and also like having to pick the right song to be the first song that dropped on the Waveforce was a challenge.
Right.
And we ended up deciding on dropping it right before the new year to kind of like signify that like from now on, like we're gonna, this is the move. This is our main focus, is putting out music. Like obviously we're still focused on placements and trying to like, you know, do other stuff outside of releasing music, but yeah, like our main focus is putting out music. We put out the single at the very end of December, and the whole song is literally just about coming up with your team. You know what I mean? Like teamwork, being
That's
successful, dope. And it was just a perfect song to go with it. And it really shows, because it's not like a sound that's trending. It's not like a sound that people are like trying to do. It's kind of like, it starts out with the sample, and it'll like, because I remember we're trying to do our own thing. You know what I mean? We're trying to like put out music. We're trying to build our own sound and something that we're known for. We're like being very musical and very creative with the song structure, with the mixing, the vocal effects and stuff like that. And like basically the focus is to stand out as our own collective with our own type of music. So yeah, like I'm excited like to put out more music. Like we have a couple songs dropping in the next few months. Right now, I'm just trying to decide which ones to drop. I want to drop one in early February, and I think I've narrowed it down to like 2 or 3. And then in March, I want to drop one before spring break, kind of like a, you know, like a fun vibe, summer anthem, like, you know what I mean, party type of song.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I don't know, like it's a journey. It's a different process than just focusing on producers, but I feel like we're doing good so far.
No, absolutely. I mean, especially if you're focusing on putting out music, like you said, the way that you're doing it, involving everybody, making sure it's a team effort, that's a really, I mean, obviously a great way to go about it. And all the things you said about all the things you could provide your artists is really amazing too, because I know some guys that are in certain groups or working with teams, and they still don't have a lot of that information that you said. Like the way that you're trying to really help out the people in your group is very special. So that says a lot, and I'm looking forward to more songs by you guys. Should be very exciting. I mean, you know, this year especially, like, I mean, I know you guys, again, like you said, you're still starting out with a lot of this stuff, like especially releasing music through Waveforce. Are you planning on releasing a bunch more this year, or is it kind of still, you know, a prep year for that, and then the year after you're gonna release a lot more?
So yeah, so we put out the single in December of last year. Like it pretty much counts like as a January release, just because we released it on the 30th of December, which is like the very end of the month. So like my goal is to put out at least one single under Waveforce each month, at least one, on top of are artists dropping their own music, and John Darko actually dropped a single recently, like a couple of days ago, with a friend of his. But right now it's only on SoundCloud, and it's already gotten like well over 1,000 plays. It got well over 1,000 plays in the first day, which is good.
Nice.
It means like the snippet did very well, the thriller video, and like I remember we were having like hour-long conversations about what we should drop first. Like, should we drop the cover art first? Should we drop a video snippet? How long should the video snippet be? Like, what should the caption be? Like we spend a lot of time trying to figure out like how to present the song. You know what I mean? Because like they're not very big artists, so like a lot of people won't take the time to actually listen to their music. And like every artist in Waveforce is like extremely talented, and like focus on building their own sound and like pushing not just their vocal performance, but also the production that they use. Like, you know what I mean? The songwriting, like the structure of the song, and just everything goes into account with them. And that's why I love working with them. And so yeah, like he put out that song. It's gonna come out on all platforms soon. And then I have another artist, Souza, who's dropping a song at the end of the month. And then Kira, who's gonna drop another song hopefully this month as well. I still need to do the cover art and probably finish it today. And then next month, like the first week, we're putting out another single under Waveforce. And then after that, one of our artists is gonna drop something else, and there's gonna be a lot of music all together. You know what I mean? And eventually, hopefully in April, I'll drop my first single with some of the artists from Waveforce, and then some people outside of Waveforce. So like we have like 5 or 6 artists that are constantly working on music and have a lot of music to put out. It's just a matter of time and figuring out like the best time for everyone.
Bet.
So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of music.
That's dope.
There's gonna be a lot.
Amazing, man. Awesome. And what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned through Waveforce? So, you know, I'm sure there's many, but what are some of the lessons you can name?
I think
or maybe even just one.
I think the biggest thing I've learned like from the whole experience of like creating and managing Waveforce was, or one thing that really put everything into perspective for me was there's no such thing as else. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as a loss. You know what I mean? It's all about perspective. It's all about the way you're seeing it, and you know what I mean? It's more of a lesson. And the reason why I say this is because before I even got into music, you know what I mean? Like before, like ever since like 6th grade, all the way up to the end of high school, like I was all into art, drawing, picking colors, you know what I mean? Like testing what colors work together. I used to do graffiti a lot. So that involves a lot of like perspective, you know what I mean? Like placing the text, making sure that it's all balanced as a piece, choosing the right colors, the right contrast to make things stand out. And then in high school, I was doing robotics. I was in math club. I was doing competitions, working as a team. And 2 times I had to lead a team through a competition, which meant like being in charge of the team, making sure we were able to do this objective. You know what I mean? Like we have to build a rocket that has to carry an egg, blah, blah, blah. And it has to land, and everything, the egg has to be safe. And so, which I won like first place the first time that I was in charge of the team, which was amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
And then after high school, I would do website designing. So like I would design websites, or I wanted to design websites. And then that didn't work out. So like obviously like the robotics engineering thing didn't work out because I ended up not doing it. The art thing, I just kind of like abandoned it. And then after high school, I tried some like graphic design / website design. It didn't work out either. I tried starting my own clothing brand, and it didn't work out. And then I tried managing an artist. That didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like all these things at the moment in time, like I thought were L's, you know what I mean? Like I thought I was failing. I thought like, man, like, what am I doing? Like I'm trying all these things out. Nothing's working out for me. Like what am I going to end up doing? You know what I mean? Like, so like mentioning all these things, you would see them like as consecutive L's. But once I started Waveforce, you know what I mean? I realized that all these things that I tried in the past ended up helping me be the person that I am now. So like nowadays, you know, the experience that I got from working as a team and doing like the whole engineering and robot building, it really helped me make sure that we're effective, that the objective is always in mind. Because whenever, as an engineer, you always analyze the tools and the materials that you have. And your job is to figure out the most efficient way to meet the objective / goal with the tools that you have. And the goal is always to be efficient. Like, how can I do this with the tools I have available? And how can I do it in the best way? And that has been very helpful for me because, as you mentioned before, like Waveforce is not even 2 years old yet. We're like a year and a half. So from the very beginning, I was like, okay, I don't have a lot of money. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of, you know, like connections or stuff like that I can pull together. So like with what I have, I was like, what's the best way that we can put out a single? What's the best way that we can do this or do that with the tools that we have available? And a lot of the times it could be Squarespace, it could be Twitter, it could be, you know what I mean, like newsletter, stuff like that. Like how can we create a community like Discord? You know what I mean? All these things are a tool. And we use that to try to like level up the Waveforce name, you know what I mean? Kind of like gain some recognition in the community and stuff like that. And then the previous thing where I was trying to design websites and graphic design came in handy when I was making the Waveforce website. Because I make the Waveforce, everything that you see on the Waveforce website, I designed. I made it. Like all the settings, everything, the layout, the way all the profile pages are set up. Like I made that using Squarespace. But like anybody who's used like a website builder knows that like they're pretty boring. But like with the tools I had inside of Squarespace, I was able to build something that was like different. And like when you go to the website, you would have never expected it to be like a Squarespace website.
No, I didn't expect that at all.
So yeah, like, I mean, even my experience of like managing an artist, you know what I mean? At the time it was an L, but like it has really helped me really manage the team. Like all these things that I used to see as like L's turned out to be very big blessings because they really helped me be able to manage the team and I guess kind of like do it the right way and do it well. You know what I mean? Because like it all worked out. It all helped out to be, I guess, the best version of me that I could be. You know what I mean? Because without those L's, I probably wouldn't be as, I don't want to, what's the word? I wouldn't be where I am right now. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't even have the team. So like all that has really helped me out. So it's all about perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I gotta ask you this. So recently you tweeted, some people shouldn't be making music. All right. So I just want to ask like where that came from and what you meant by that.
Like it wasn't like a jab at anybody in particular. It was just like over the past few weeks / months, you know, I just see a lot of people who complain or are expecting, I guess, their expectations and their goals are not. I just feel like there's not enough people who are actually making music for the love of making music, for the love of like wanting to put out like good music and like try to like push the boundaries of the sound and like do something different. And you know what I mean? Like just get together with someone else just to see what the best thing you can make is. I feel like a lot of like a majority of the, I guess, the music scene right now is just like, it's just like, you know what I mean, just making plays, you know what I mean, just, I don't know, like it feels like very objective oriented, like, you know what I mean, just getting, I don't know, I feel like there's not a lot of passion in there. I just feel like there's a lot of people doing music for the wrong reasons. It wasn't, I know a lot of people saw it as like, oh, there's people making shitty music. And that's not really it, because you can make shitty music, but still be making your type of music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just see a lot of people doing certain things that someone else has been doing because it worked, instead of like trying to build up your own sound and your own identity as a musician. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. It was just like literally like I just thought about it and tweeted it. I didn't really think about it till afterwards. But yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're not wrong. Like, I think right now, and I mean, this has kind of been the case for a while, but being in music and it could be being an artist, even a producer, but people view it a certain way. And of course, there's people that come in for, you know, all kinds of reasons. I mean, making music, I would say, is easier than it's ever been because of just the access to technology and, you know, being able to record from home rather than going to a studio, and all the information online. But at the same time, like, I agree with you. There's so many people that have a certain view, or they think they know what music is and how to make it and what, you know, but again, it's for the wrong reasons. And, you know, it might just to be, you know, they think it's cool or whatever, or they think they'll be viewed as cool, and that just kind of ends there. And then, so I know what you mean. And of course that can go for all kinds of different situations, but
yeah, a lot of people are doing it for the results and not for, I guess, the statement. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, a lot of people are putting out music to get a certain amount of plays, to get a certain amount of feedback, to do this, and not putting out music because this song is amazing and I want everyone to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, even I've been guilty of, like, I guess, losing the passion for music and, like, just getting like sucked into the way everything works. You know what I mean? Like the politics, the business mindset, and you kind of like distance yourself from the reason why you're doing music in the first place. And it's the reason why I started was because I loved making the music. I didn't really care who hopped on it. I didn't really care like how many people listened to it. I just wanted to make music and I wanted to put it out. And whoever did listen, for them to hopefully enjoy it. And like last year was all about, like, I guess, finding that part of me again. You know what I mean? Like not making music to prove a point or to make a statement, but making music because I like it, because I love it, because it's something, you know what I mean? Making music that I'm proud of and stuff like that. Like trying to push myself sonically and creatively is what I've been focusing on more.
No, that's great, and I'm with you, man. I last year was a big year for me in terms of that. Like I realized I was getting into these really repetitive habits of make this amount of beats, you know, make this amount of samples, and just get them done. And there's benefits to that, but I was introduced to a few producers that didn't view it like that, and they were still doing what I wanted to be doing, and they showed me the importance again, or they kind of reintroduced me to the importance of falling in love with what you're actually making fully. And that's where a lot of the gems are. And so I'm with you. There's definitely, and I'm happy that's been the case for me lately, or as of last year. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Like, two questions I have for you. Actually, one of the main ones I have, because I'm curious to get your answer. If you had a choice between, let's forget about Waveforce or anything really. Let's say you've got a ton of free time on your hands,
Mm-hmm.
and you're presented with the opportunity to help mentor and develop a producer versus helping mentor and develop an artist. Which one would you go with? And let's assume they're both good enough at what each other is doing. So,
Let's see. I feel like an artist is like more rewarding.
yeah.
The reason I say this is because like there's only so much thing that you can do as a producer, whereas as an artist, there's like a lot of different things that come with, like I guess like managing or like coaching or guiding an artist, like from the music, from the recording process, the way that you put out the music, the performances, interviews, like special appearances, like the way that you're able to establish your personality and identity into each of these things is, I don't know, I feel like it's more fun. You know what I mean? And that's why, I don't know, like, because like as a producer, like we don't really get to see a lot of who a producer is, whereas as an artist you really get to like get a grasp of their personality and how they think and stuff like that. And
Right.
but like lately, like there's some producers who will be more active, like on camera and stuff like that, and publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's always fun for me as a producer to see how other producers are and how they interact and how they think and all that stuff. Because I know it wasn't very common back then because they were more behind the scenes people. But I don't know. I feel like I like that where it's going to, or like where producers are becoming their own celebrities. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Yeah, a lot more producers are building personal brands now, and just showing their face and realizing the importance of that too. So I'm completely with you. I agree. If someone, I'll ask kind of a more basic question. What kind of advice would you give to someone who's starting out in their music journey? You can maybe, if you want, for the sake of the question, you can assume that this person is a producer, or you can assume this person is everything that you are, all the things that you've come to accomplish, but they're just starting out. So, what kind of advice would you have for that person?
So that's a good question because my younger brother, he's 17 and he's actually just getting into music now. Because I remember I asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and he said that he wanted FL Studio. And I was actually surprised. I was like he would always sing in the shower, and like he was like a very like he would just like always like singing and stuff like that. And from like early on, like my parents would always say that, oh, he's gonna be a singer, he's gonna be a celebrity or something like that. And he's been writing a lot lately, and I was surprised when you mentioned FL Studio, just because like he's actually taking it seriously to the point where he wants to invest in software, because he mentioned like, yeah, like I want to get FL Studio, like I've actually been saving up money. And so like he's taking it serious to the point where he's willing to invest money into it, which is a good sign. And so I got him FL Studio, you know what I mean? I got him some gear. He bought himself an audio interface, a mic, and stuff like that. And he's just getting started. And one of the things that I told him, because he's trying to be an artist, is like, just record. You know what I mean? Like, don't even worry about making a SoundCloud. Don't even worry about, you know what I mean? Like finishing the songs. Don't even worry about all that, like just record. You know what I mean? Just go on
Mm.
YouTube, find the beats that you like, and just record. You know what I mean? Record as much as you
Mm.
can, as many times as you can, and just keep doing it over and over and over again. And each time, just try to push yourself to do something different or something new with your voice, with the way you're saying things, and with what you're saying and how you're saying them. And just keep doing that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just focus on trying to bring something new to the table that's not being done vocally or as an artist. Just put the hours in. You know what I mean? Like, don't even worry about SoundCloud. Don't even worry about getting plays or getting yourself out there. Just focus on building up your sound. Because once you have your sound, like everything else comes easy. You know what I mean? Once you
Mm.
have your sound, you know who you're gonna market to. You know how you're gonna know how to brand yourself and who to connect with and stuff like that, and who the people that you should be working with are gonna be. And I feel like a lot of us as musicians, and even me as a musician, when I first started, like I was focusing on all the wrong things. Like, oh, I need a website to sell beats. I need a logo. I need all
Right.
this and all that, instead of just focusing on building my own sound. And what ends up happening when you try to do all that and you come in and you're literally just like any other person. You know what I mean? Like, you don't stand out. You know what I mean? You go on YouTube, you look up these tutorials on how to be a producer, I guess, and you end up just being like a cookie cutter copy and stuff like that. And whereas if I would have really pushed myself to figure out who I am, because when I first started, I was just a logo. I was trying to be business oriented and stuff like that, and I don't know, like I wasn't getting any traction or anything and all that. And it wasn't until I started letting out my personality, you know what I mean? Because I joke around a lot, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like a lot, like to the point where like my girlfriend's always getting mad after me because I play around a lot. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like I feel like it's refreshing. Like even now when I go on Twitter and I see like producers who probably not don't even have like 100 followers, but like they have their own sound, like they're themselves. Like I follow them. You know what I mean? Those are the people that I want to gravitate to. Those are the people that I want to work with. Instead of somebody
Mm.
who is trying to be too proper or too business and stuff like that. And
Right.
so yeah, my advice is just try to like just put the hours in, get as good as you can, and then once you feel like your music's good enough, like then you start on, finishing songs. And then once you start finishing songs, because when we first start, we want to put out everything we make, which is
Mm.
not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like obviously, it's a good way to get feedback on stuff like that. But you can get feedback without putting stuff out. But like I feel like your first main priority is to just discover who you are as an artist or a producer, because this applies to both. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be a producer, put
Mm.
the hours in, make as many beats as you can, and try to pay attention to what sounds you like, what kind of drum sounds you
Mm.
like, and what kind of patterns you like, what kind of tempo you like. Don't try to do melody just because Palace is making, or that's because Southside is, or how that's how Southside makes them. Focus on making music the way you like to make it. And I feel like the best way is to create a stash kit and only add the sounds that you personally like. Don't add the sounds that everybody's
Mm.
using. Focus on building that folder with just sounds that you like, and then start using only that folder. And you're gonna realize that you're gonna start developing your own drum sound, your own bounce, you know what I mean, your own style, when you actually focus on using and making the music that you like. And yeah, I feel like that it makes it easier to stand out that way instead of making music
For
because that's
sure.
what everybody else is doing, or that's what's trending, or blah blah blah. And yeah, like try to be yourself when you're trying to brand yourself. You
Mm.
know what I mean? That's very important. It makes it easier for people to connect with you and actually want to build with you, like a relationship wise. Like, you know what I mean? Like I check my DMs every day and my requests, and like it's always the people who stand out. And like, because I don't really care if they have placements. I don't care how many followers they have. You know what I mean? Like, but if I can tell that this person is genuine and being themselves and wanting to do music their own way, those are the people that I prefer to follow. So like, I feel hopefully like other people feel the same way, like gravitating towards somebody who's trying to do something different.
Absolutely. And with everything that you have on your plate, because you're doing a lot, especially with Waveforce. I mean, that's a lot of things that you have to do daily. So how do you keep yourself consistent with everything that you have going on?
Man, that was like the hardest thing for me. Like that was like one of the biggest obstacles is how do I balance everything out? And I feel like 2021 was a big year for me, like for everything. You know what I mean? And it helped me figure out where I wanted to go with Waveforce. It helped me figure out where I wanted to go as a producer myself, and help me figure out how to handle the business. You know what I mean? Kind of like a process of doing everything and balancing everything out, because I was struggling at first because I was either focusing too much on the management side of Waveforce, like helping everybody, scheduling releases, you know what I mean, finding ways to get new followers and stuff for Waveforce, hosting events, to the point where I wasn't making music, and I would not make music for weeks, for months.
Yeah.
So like my career as a producer was most of 2021, I was like not doing much for myself, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then like towards, I guess after January, like I started focusing on my career, you know what I mean? Like, you know, getting back into the habit and stuff, like trying to not reteach myself, but like improving myself as a producer, improving my melodies, you know what I mean? To make better melodies, better sound selection. Because I was always more of a drums guy. So like towards the second half of last year, like I was focusing on myself, and what ended up happening is like I wasn't really like Waveforce was like, you know what I mean, kind of like falling behind because I was focusing too much on myself. So I was like, damn, like, so I had to focus like what I wanted to make a priority, which was a bad thing, because I want to be able to build myself up as a producer as well, because you know what I mean? Like I was focused on Waveforce, and like I would see people getting placements and all that, or putting out songs that are even, I don't really care if it's a big song, you know what I mean? Just the fact that a song is coming out that I like, that I produce on, but that I like, even if it's just on SoundCloud, even if it's with the local artist or a small artist, like as long as it's a fire song, I'll be proud of it. Right. You know what I mean? So all last year, like I didn't really put out anything. So like I was like, do I just focus full time on Waveforce, like as a manager, or do I focus on my career and kind of like let Waveforce kind of like be like a background thing? And I didn't like either of those. So what ended up happening is I ended up pretty much redoing the way that Waveforce worked.
Okay.
And the way I managed it to where Waveforce can pretty much run itself, and all I have to do is pretty much just announce stuff on the Waveforce account, on the website and stuff like that. So like I completely redid the website. I redid the branding and the system of it to the point where it makes it easier for me. So I don't have to be constantly on Waveforce 24/7. Because back then we were doing monthly events, trying to put out kits every week, which was a lot of management on my side and scheduling and uploading and stuff like that. So we stopped doing the kits every week. We stopped doing the events every month. And now like I'm like very hands-on with the individual members, and I'm able to like really make melodies and send them out and stuff like that. So like now I'm able to take advantage of the opportunities that because like as a team, like we're able to share opportunities. If somebody has a connection with someone or they have the opportunity to send to someone, they'll share with the rest of the team. But I was never able to send anything in or anything like that because I didn't have anything because I was always too busy. But like towards the very end of 2021, like I've been more hands-on and trying to take advantage of these opportunities and even trying to bring in new opportunities for myself, which is good, and all while also being hands-on with Waveforce. It's a weird way, but like, and it's chaotic when I'm trying to explain it, but it works now. It works for me the way everything is. You know, I really organize myself. I have lists, I have reminders, you know what I mean? Like I'm always on the phone with the members, so like it's easier that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, as more started happening on my plate, that's part of why I asked, because and it's very good that like you gave a great answer, because even that idea of you're focusing on all your other things, specifically Waveforce, and then that kind of took you away from the producing side, and then when you focus on the producing side, you're slacking on one area. So I can definitely relate to that, and that's part of the reason I asked, because that is a really difficult thing to figure out. But the list thing too, man, lists have helped me so much. Like little, just simple organizational things have helped me immensely. So that's very real. One thing I've noticed about the Waveforce guys, the ones that I've worked with, is that these guys, first of all, they're great at talking to people. Again, these are the ones I've worked with, but they're great at networking, talking to people. They work hard. They're always very consistent. And the hard work is very like key. Like that's something that really stood out. Like it was always, members of Waveforce that were, very consistent with a lot of what they were doing. Is that something that you think that, like, is that something these guys had before joining Waveforce and that's why they're, a part of the group? Or is that something where once they get into Waveforce, they kind of see a certain culture and the way that you guys do things and they kind of get inspired by that or take from that?
I think it's a mix of both, because like whenever I recruit people, I always make sure that they know what they're doing and that they actually want to be doing this music stuff and that they're already putting the work in, because like the last thing we want is a member to join and not really do anything. So whenever I pick a member, I always make sure that they're consistent, that they're putting out good, music, content, beats, whatever, and that they're good at networking. And that's also like a main thing of why whenever I recruit people, like we have to make sure that they're a good person. You know what I mean? And by that I mean like a good person, like in the overall aspect of things. You know what I mean? Like not a dick, like not a jerk or anything like that. One, because it makes it easier to network. You know what I mean? It makes it easier to network if you're a genuine, good person. And two, it helps keep that chemistry in the team positive, good vibes, genuine. And what that ends up doing is like I'm very, like I always push everyone to do everything on their own time. You know what I mean? I never push anybody. I don't put deadlines, because I don't do well with that. You know what I mean? Like I like creating when I want. I like being able to only making music when I'm in the mood. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like the way our chats work is we have like 3 different group chats, and then one group chat is just where we just talk. You know what I mean? Like we get in there, we're just like joking around, just saying dumb shit. And then we have another one where it's like business stuff / opportunities, where like if we see like someone needs a certain type of samples, we'll send that in the opportunities one, and all the members will be able to participate.
Right.
And then we have like a business one where it's like overall like this is also a reason why it's made it a lot easier on me, is developing a system that makes everything easier. You know what I mean? Like when I redid the whole branding of Waveforce Mega to like just Waveforce under the Waveforce IO like domain name, my main focus was building a system that was way easier to run. And that means like having a Dropbox account where everything can get scheduled. You know what I mean? Having the Discord set up to where we can have our meetings in there. Having these different chats, one for each thing, like one for like opportunities, one to send like our own tweets, like members' tweets. So it makes it easier for us to see instead of waiting for them to pop up on our timeline. So we're able to be active on each other's stuff and what we're working on and all that stuff. So like just literally making Waveforce the easiest thing to run, and like has given me more time, and also managing how I run, because I was very chaotic. Like all my stuff was all over the place. So I made myself a desktop, a Dropbox, linked it to my desktop. So every time I make a sample, it gets uploaded automatically. All this has given me a lot of time to be able to push and focus on building with the artists, listening to all their music, figuring out good game plans. But like back to the other point, whenever somebody gets a win, they share it in the team. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If someone, like, for example, one of our members, I'm not going to say who, because I'm not even supposed to be talking about it, is for example, sending to Lil Baby. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just that itself motivates the whole team. You know what I mean? Like when someone shares that type of stuff, or like, for example, that they're sending a beat to Saweetie, you know what I mean? One, it like what I love about the team is like everybody starts like celebrating. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, mm-hmm. That's a win. You know what I mean? Congrats, blah, 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 and all that. And like these little victories like keep the team motivated and like keep us moving, and like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's because it's just a genuine environment where we're like legitimately happy to see each other win. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like that creates a good environment as a team, because it pushes everybody to be the best versions of themselves and keep pushing themselves, because there's no ego, there's no hate, there's no jealousy. Like, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because like every member is good about when they do have an opportunity, like, hey, send me samples, because I'm gonna be sending to so and so, or I'm sending some samples to whoever it is. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like that really motivates us to like keep going harder, because like, you know what I mean? Like the opportunities are still coming in. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, I feel like it gets us all pumped. And everybody is like very good about always making samples, sending out beats, and trying to like work with artists, whether they're big or small, which is good.
Yeah, man. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I mean, I guess I just want to, just announce that we're going to be putting out more music. So I want to start doing events again, like virtual events, for anybody who is interested, you know what I mean, in our Discord. And I mean like events like beat battles, beat competitions, you know what I mean, like feedback, like listening to people's music and giving feedback. And because we did it a lot last year, but it got overwhelming just because there wasn't really a system in place. Like we were just doing them we were doing them too much. We were trying to do too many events in one weekend, and it was just chaotic. So now we're going to do like one or two events a month, you know what I mean, and focus just on what that one or two event. And I want to be giving out prizes, you know, giving out merch, giving out money, equipment, just depending on the event. Like I want to be able to do like all kinds of events, even just game night, where we just play games with the Discord. We're gonna be putting out merch hopefully by April. And with that, it's not just gonna be, you know what I mean, like just with the Waveforce logo on some shirts or stuff like that. Like I want there to be function. You know what I mean? Like I want to put out like laptop sleeves that are water resistant, that are lined on the inside to protect from scratching and stuff like that. And then, you know what I mean, like stickers that look good but also have purpose. You know what I mean? Everything I wanted to have a purpose as well. And yeah, there'll be some stuff that are like just there just because they look cool. What else? I mean, I'm always looking for new members for Waveforce, and that includes artists, producers. What I will say is DMing me on Twitter or DMing the Waveforce account on Twitter to join is not the way. To anybody that's listening and wants to be a part of Waveforce in the future, the best thing I can recommend is to start working with the artists, working with the producers, build the relationships with them, because every time I do want to recruit, I always ask the team. I always ask them first, is there anyone that y'all want to recommend to join Waveforce? You know what I mean? And they'll ask, blah, blah, like we'll consider them first. And then I'll also make a post asking people to submit or comment if they want in. And then I'll look, and as a team, like I'll pick my favorite ones and I ask them, like, have y'all worked with any of these people? Like, what are your experiences with them as a person? So the best way is to literally try to like, just, you know what I mean? Like, one, we focus on, have we worked with them? Do we know them enough to trust them into the team? And then two is, what was the second one? First one is if we know them enough to be in the team. And damn. Two, like do they actually support, like genuine support? Like do they like the Waveforce stuff? Do they actually listen to the music? Do they actually like interact with the members on social media or, you know, and behind the scenes? Or did they just comment just because they saw the tweet? Like, I don't want it to be like I don't want to add people just because it seems like it's the next thing. You know what I mean? Like it's the next thing. Like I want to join them just because they actually believe in Waveforce, or they really like the members and the type of music we make and the stuff we're doing. So yeah, like just interacting, you know what I mean? And on the Waveforce website, we have a list of all the members and all the social medias and stuff like that. So yeah, I can start working with them. I think that's it. I mean, just be yourself to everyone that's listening. Because I know when I first started, it wasn't until I started being myself, like with all the memes, all the tweets and stuff like that, that I started getting attention and interaction. And I've had like actual big celebrities, like Pierre. I've had Southside. I've had a lot of people just like that enjoy the tweets. You know what I mean? I've had Pierre posting me on his story. I've had I remember once I made a tweet about Southside that his whole team ended up sending to him. That he thought was funny. And I don't know, like it has helped me open a lot of doors. You know what I mean? And I remember at first there was certain people that told me not to do that. You know what I mean? Like joking around, making memes is not business oriented. Like nobody's gonna fuck with you in the industry, which is crazy because the same person that told me that is like has been getting a lot of hate recently from the industry.
Yeah,
and he's always been focused on just being strictly business, and I feel like I don't know, I'm more focused on just being the best version of myself. You know what I mean? Being genuine with the people that I interact with. You know what I mean? Just helping out as many people as I can. You know what I mean? Like, without expecting anything in return. And that goes for my members as well. Like, because we've had a few members who have gotten, like, label deals management deals, offers, even publishing deals thrown at them. And I always encourage them to make sure that they are ready, make sure that it's fair, and I give them advice as much as they can. You know what I mean? Because like all the members are fire, and I know that there's going to be bigger and better deals that are going to come if they just have the patience. And whenever they do get an offer, like we'll talk on the phone, and I'll tell them like, I don't know, like I feel like this management deal is too long, and the percentage they're asking for is too big. I feel like you don't really need it right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, put out some more music, get 1 or 2 placements, and watch. Like, there's gonna be way more management deals. Like, build up leverage so you can negotiate,
right?
And just stuff like that. Like even with my artists, I try to give them the tools to be as successful as they can on their own. You know what I mean? Like, I teach them about their own publishing, registering their music, sync placements, songwriting opportunities with labels. And that goes for everybody. Like, even people outside of Waveforce, like if they DM me, and that goes for anybody watching this, like I'll answer. If it's a legitimate question, like I'll always answer. And like, a lot of people will vouch for this because I don't post about it or anything. But if someone DMs me, I always answer, and I don't hold anything back. Because when I was starting, I had a lot of people who, whenever I would ask for advice or for help, or, you know what I mean, they were always like, I don't know, for some reason they wouldn't want to share. So like, I struggled a lot when I was coming up, having to learn everything myself, because I didn't really have anybody that could teach me. So that's why now, like, I'm very big on like actually like sharing the knowledge I have to make it easier for other people. So if you're watching this, my DMs are always open. You know what I mean? Just don't try to promote your stuff and stuff like that. And
yeah, bet, man. Well, thank you for your time. If you want, you can actually plug I'll have your social media links in the description. But you're welcome to plug yourself now too.
I mean, follow my Instagram. My Instagram is pretty dry because I've never used Instagram, but I've been using it a lot lately. So if you're watching this, I'll be posting more on there. Join our Discord. I mean, I get everything, like even all my socials, everybody's in Waveforce socials, their emails and all that is all on their profiles on the Waveforce website. The Discord is on the Waveforce website. Like, our latest music is on the Waveforce website. Our kits, we have a bunch of free kits for people who are just starting out or just don't have the money to buy kits. We have a lot of free ones, good quality, on the Waveforce website. The Discord, we have a lot of opportunities there for them to promote themselves, to network and collab with. We have a whole section for collabs where people can submit loops or get loops from other members in the Discord. We have a promote section where they can promote their beats, their social medias, their YouTubes, whatever. And then we have just chats where they just talk or just share memes and stuff like that. And we have designers, we have engineers, we have artists, producers, and even people who don't even make music in there. So it's like a big melting pot. So like, if you're small and you want to get started in building relationships and working with other people, you know, getting feedback, you know, collabing with people, everybody drops MIDIs, loops, all that. Like, just, that's the best place that you can go. Like, our Discord is linked in our website. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, Waveforce.
Yeah, bro. Well, thank you for your time, man. For real, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, this was a fun conversation for me because you have experience in areas that I'm very interested in. A lot of the questions I ask are usually, I know they'll help the community and people who watch, but they're also self-serving. I want to know the answers because I like to learn. So again, I appreciate your time, man. I'm sure we'll chat again at some point. You know, further down the line as Waveforce starts to release more. And yeah, I mean, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm always down to come again and talk some more, because I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I can literally talk for hours. I mean, so
Perfect, man. Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, and I have a lot more questions. So I'm gonna wait till you guys drop some more stuff, let you do your thing, and then we'll get you back on here as soon as possible, because that'd be a lot of fun to talk about.
yeah, sounds good.